guys! Today I'm going to do my first question and answer video, and the subject is Annie. So if you follow me on Instagram, either Theatrical Wanderings or Orphan Annie Fan, you have seen my question and answer, or you might have seen my question and answer post on my Orphan Annie Fan account, and I posted about it on my Theatrical Wanderings account. So I had a bunch of people ask me a bunch of questions, and I'm going to answer them for you today. This video isn't about a specific production because it would take way too long for me to do one whole video about every single Annie production. So if anything, Annie will be kind of like a series, I guess, because I love Annie so much and I have so much to say about it. So this is just going to be a question and answer thing to get the series started. I don't know if that's the right term for it. But I'm looking forward to answering these questions. I've had this post up for about a week now. I have the answer right here because I usually use my phone for Instagram. Downloaded on my iPad. Let's get started. Just Another Theater Kid asked, who is your favorite Annie? This is one of the hardest questions I've ever had to face in my life because there are so many amazing Annies. There's been so many amazing Annies. I've seen so many amazing Annies. But my answer... Okay, I'm gonna cheat here. I'm gonna do ones I have not seen in person and ones I've seen in person. For not in person, I'm probably going to say Allison Smith because she just played Annie differently than I've seen any other Annie be played. Great grammar right there. You can tell it's late when I'm filming this. There are some videos of her on YouTube if you want to look it up and you'll see what I mean if you're familiar with the show at all. She's just brought a lot to that character and just unique, I guess. But there are so many amazing Annies, it's so hard to choose. Out of ones I've seen, oh gosh, all of them. I mean, I loved Heidi Gray. I saw her in the most times. I loved Angelina Carballo. I saw her, it was fun because I saw her as an understudy in 2015 and then I saw her finish out the run in 2017. So seeing her grow as a performer was absolutely incredible. So she's also one of my favorites. I'm not going to be able to choose one. Let's be honest here. And also Emily Moreland. She was one of the understudies. She was Heidi's understudy. And I saw her twice, and she was phenomenal. Her voice, her Tomorrow in particular, was just so clear and strong. So, I don't know. I really can't choose one out of the ones I've seen because they all played Annie differently. Therefore, it's really hard to choose. Campbell Page asked these next 6 questions. Yeah. What did you see first, the movie or the stage show? I saw the 1999 movie first, which is a funny story because I was trying to watch the 1982 movie to get over my fear of it, I guess. It was a fear. The trailer on Wonderful World of Disney scared me because for whatever reason, I thought Annie got supersized and took over Manhattan. Don't ask me, 90s editing was really strange. So I saw the 1999 movie first, and I loved it so much. I mean, I was glad I had seen that one first. I don't know if I could have handled the 1982 movie at first. I don't think I would have appreciated it either, but I was so obsessed. I made my friends do lip syncs to Hard Knock Life. I remember doing it in their living room, and I was just, oh my gosh, I should have known then. Then I saw the 1982 movie years later. I actually had seen the trailer for the 2014 movie, and I was like, okay, well, I need to just get moving. I need to see the 82 movie before this comes out because Anne Rankin was in it, and I was a big fan of her already, and Carol Burnett, of course, so I finally watched that, and that's really what sparked my newfound love for Annie, which has continued all these years. So I watched that, it had to have been early 2014 I first watched that. And then before the 2014 movie came out, I saw the stage show, which, of course, deepened my obsession even more. Which movie do you think captures the magic of Annie most accurately? That's a really good question. I mean, the thing is, each movie is really different and has a different portrayal. Like the 82 movie is more nostalgic feel to it, and it's more, it leans more towards the comic book universe, I suppose, like with some of the music thrown in because of the whole scene at the end with the bridge. That definitely wasn't in the musical. But that's a very, like, for me, warm and nostalgic feeling, which is strange since the 1999 movie was the first I saw. The 1999 movie is closer to the musical, but it's really, really, really rushed for me. I mean, maybe because I've just seen the other movies, the original movie so much by this point, but it's just so much is missing. I can't even say that captures the magic enough. There are scenes that do, but for me, it's just too fast, and there's no time for the magic, I suppose. I don't know. I'm probably upsetting some 1999 movie fans here. 2014 movie has a lot of magic in it. It's just not really Annie. I mean, I adore that movie, but not as Annie so much. It's like apples and oranges, I guess. So I guess my answer would have to be the 1982 movie, but it still can't compare to the stage show. How many different productions of Annie have you seen? For the original script and setup, I've only seen one production, and that was, of course, the US tour, but I've seen that one the most, which was 16 times, please don't judge me. And then I've seen 3 different productions of Annie Warbucks. 2 were regional in New Hampshire. I saw one once and one twice. And then I saw the recent production in New York City. It was considered off-Broadway, but I didn't feel off-Broadway to me, I guess. But it was great. I don't know. I liked the second regional production I saw in New Hampshire and New York a lot. I wish I could have, like, combined them, because there was just such great spirit in the regional one I saw. And then there was, like, so many people I knew from the New York production, so that was also a lot of fun. Which orphan are you most like and why? I don't know. I guess I'm kind of a mix. I mean, out of the Annie chat group we have, I guess I'd be more considered July if you ever looked through each of their bios, the orphan bios, just because I'm like the mom friend, so, but I'm also Tessie because, oh my goodness, about everything. So yeah, I guess a mix of July and Tessie. If you could cast your own production of Annie, who would you cast in the main roles? That's a good question, and I don't know if I can really answer that well, because the problem is there would be a weird time, because I'd have older actors in mind, just because that's where my mind is. I'm not going to do any of the orphans just because there's so many child actors I could choose from, and it would take so long for me to go through and pinpoint who would be best in which role. I mean, Miranda Hart was my dream Miss Hannigan, and she, of course, played Miss Hannigan recently on the West End. So now I have to find a new Miss Hannigan. Grace. I want Laura Osnes to play Grace so badly. I think she'd be amazing as Grace. I also want Visca Van Tongeren to be Grace, but that would be in, like, a German production or something. For Warbucks, I think Ben Davis. He was recently in Sound of Music. I think he'd be a good Warbucks. I can't picture him bald, though. For Rooster and Lily, can we just bring Kristen Chenoweth and Alan Cumming to the stage, please? That would be awesome. And while we're at it, we'll just have Carol Burnett reprise her role as Miss Hannigan, because that would be absolutely amazing. Wig or no wig? I'm gonna say no wig, like the classic hair, the bob, because, I don't know, I just like that look better. It's more natural until you get to the end. They have a very hard time finding good wigs for the end. That is what I have to say about the UK wig. At least it's kind of steady through the whole thing, because with the US production, it was like, she clearly doesn't have a wig. Most Annies didn't have a wig, and then they had this weird looking one. I don't know. I think there could be better wigs used, but I'm also not in any sort of costuming field or anything, so I really don't know the technicalities you need for the wig, because I know it's a very fast, quick change. Rozzy is stagey stuffed as, who's the best Pepper, with a lot of emphasis? You, of course! No, I never got to see you, though, so I'm gonna go by Pepper I've seen, and I'm going to say Molly Rose Meredith because she just had a great attitude as Pepper, and I wish there was video footage of this because she was just great. Here's another one from Campbell Page. What do you think of the West End Annie costume? Her final one, I have to say I don't like it because I wish they had the regular red dress that she wears. I don't know what scene. I feel like it's the end of Act 1. I wish they had that at the end instead of the plaid one because it just doesn't feel like Annie to me. I like the traditional red dress, and I was really disappointed that West End didn't do that, so sorry. I know you love that production. Amp TV asked the next two questions. Who played Daddy Warbucks in the most recent production? For US, it was Gilgamesh Taggart, and for UK, it's Alex Bourne. And how many cities did he play Daddy Warbucks? I tried looking this up, but it's all messed up now because the site is gone, so it's really hard to look it up, but dozens all over the US. Some I can name: Seattle, Los Angeles, Boston, New Haven, Brooklyn, Hershey, Easton, Philadelphia, Portland. Oh, so many in Florida alone. So I can't name all of them, I'm sorry, but also, this was not limited to the US. There was also an Asian part of the tour, Canadian part of the tour, so a lot. Naughty Maggot asked the next four questions. Favorite current West End Annie / team? I'm gonna say Team Lexington because I just love Lila's voice, and I wish she was doing more of the performances because she's a great voice. So yeah, I mean, I'm not so much caught up with the West End or anything because I don't live there, so I mean, I know about it obviously, but Miranda or Craig? Miranda, definitely Miranda, because like I said before, she was my dream Miss Hannigan because I knew that it was her dream role, and she sounded, from what I've heard, she, like all the ad-libs and everything sounded hilarious, and I wish I could have seen her. I was supposed to, and it just didn't work out. And I don't know, the drag Miss Hannigan just doesn't work for me, because it just, I don't know, it's not realistic, and it works great for Matilda, but, like, for Agatha, I mean, maybe it's just me, because I've read so much fan fiction, thanks to the Annie fandom, but, like, it just, I don't know, not as realistic to me. Broadway or West End? With the most recent Broadway production in mind, West End. UK tour or current West End? I know more about the UK tour, but I'm gonna say West End because I know that Grace sings the Maybe reprise, and that's a really important thing to me. Austin Torrey 22 asked, what is your favorite song from Annie? It really depends on the day, like what mood I'm in, because there's not a bad song in that entire soundtrack. But I'm going to say You Won't Be an Orphan for Long. That's usually my go-to one because it's the one I always leave the theater singing. So, and I love that song. I love it. I'm really sorry if I pronounce your last name wrong, but official Sandra Gaychuz asked the next few questions. How did you come to love Annie? I sort of said that story already before with me liking the 1999 movie and how when the 2014 movie came out, I never stopped loving Annie, but there was just like a lull for a few years between when I first watched the 1999 movie and the first time I watched the 82 movie. And once I saw the 82 movie, I was like, yes! So yeah, I kind of said this story already. When and where did you first hear of Annie? I guess the first time I would have heard of it was that trailer I mentioned before, the one I was afraid of, because that was as far back I can remember as Wonderful World of Disney. But I don't know, Annie's just kind of one of those things I've always known about. It's because you hear it all the time, like Tomorrow and Hard Knock Life. I remember one of my friends when I was younger, I don't remember the context, I just remember we were playing in her yard, and then she goes, it's the hard knock life, 4 sticks, always getting crushed by bricks. And I don't know, I still get that in my head. And that was way before I got into the show. So it's just something I always kind of known about. I was delayed getting into it because it scared me. And when you heard of Annie, what made you decide to watch? I guess what made me decide to watch it was boredom. I remember it was the end of summer, and I'd stayed home from like a weekly get-together pool day at someone's house, and I was home alone, so I was watching YouTube videos, and I was looking up American Girl doll videos, actually, and someone had made a fan video for the Samantha American Girl movie, and on their channel, because I was looking to see if they had other ones, so I think they had one for, like, Felicity and whatever, but her icon was Annie, from the Royal Adventure, and she had a Hard Knock Life music video, but by the play version of Hard Knock Life, which I like. I mean, it's really pop in 90s, but I enjoy it. So I watched that, and it was of the 82 movie, actually, so that's why I was looking for the 82 movie, and I loved it so much. I don't know what it was about it that's, like, touched me. I was like, oh, I need this in my life. So I looked it up, and I found the whole 1999 movie on YouTube. So yeah, and then it was, like, probably not until tomorrow, I'm like, this isn't the right Annie, is it? Like, it didn't click to me that the sets were totally different, but then by then I was committed to that. I'm like, oh, I'll just finish watching this. And I actually started to watch the 82 movie, because that was also on YouTube at the time. And I was like, nah, I like the other one. So that's how that worked. Funny how things change. Other than Grace, Annie, Miss Hannigan, or Lily, who would you want to play in a new film of Annie if you could? Can I play FDR? Just so I can say, solo for the president! I will not sing the entire song, although I'm really tempted to. Who is your favorite character that is not one of the main roles and not an orphan? That's a really good question. I'm gonna say Sophie from the Hooverville. I don't know why. I think probably because of the book, when it went more in depth to the Hooverville. But I don't know, I like her a lot. I think that she'd actually be fun to play in, although I guess they wouldn't have her in the movie. They don't usually have the Hooverville in the movies, but I don't know. I like Sophie. Nancy Artingstall asks the next two questions. What is it about Annie that makes you love it so much? I really don't know, to be honest. I like the optimism of it. I like the family feel to it. I don't know. It had that impact on my life. There's not really putting any words to it. Why it got to be as deep as it has, I don't know. Maybe it's because it came at a good time in my life, or I don't know. It's just one of those things, I guess. I mean, it's helped having, like, the Instagram community, because it's small, but we have all been talking for the past several years. Not several years, but, like, a few years. So it's definitely a strong, tight-knit group. Yeah, I really don't have a specific answer for that. If you could rewrite Annie, what would you change? I feel like you asked me this just because you know what I'd say. I'd obviously put more Grace in it. Of course, she's my favorite character if you haven't gathered that already. I would actually add more scenes right after Annie gets to the mansion, like some stuff after NYC. Although I have to say that in the recent US production of it, they did it really well. I mean, maybe this is just me, but it felt more like a bonding scene, because it was Annie, Warbucks, Grace, and the staff that went along to the movies in NYC, and it got cut towards the end, actually. They cut out the ice skating scene, which I think was a really big moment, and without it, it felt really short. And I didn't like that was cut for the last year, but, yeah, their stories. I can tell you how many times I've seen script changes. Yeah, I don't know, that I liked that, and it just showed the bonding so much more, and with that missing, it kind of undid some of that. Maybe that's just me, but I don't know, that was a moment I really enjoyed. But I would still, either way, add a little bit more. I'd also really love to see on stage, it would probably end up being split into two different shows, but I don't have the book handy. In the first book by Thomas Meehan, he went really into detail of Annie's life in the Hooverville. I kind of said that before. I would really like to see that on stage. I know there's demos where it goes more into that, but I don't know. I really enjoyed that part of the story because it shows Annie's life more before she gets adopted. So I would really like to see that on stage. So I'd kind of add that in there. And then I guess I don't know what else I'd add. More Grace. I want more Grace in it. The last question is from David Vogel Jr., and I'm sorry if I'm not answering the right question. It's kind of a typo. UK tour or Matilda the musical in West End live. I think that's what you're asking. I honestly didn't see the Matilda performance. I don't actually remember. Did they perform? I don't remember seeing any videos of that. I'm not gonna lie. I love Matilda. I just don't keep up with it. This is something I like go to and enjoy the show. I really, since the Broadway production closed, I have not kept up with it at all. But yeah, Annie was my favorite, which was West End at this point when West End Live happened. I just think it was a great performance, especially the girl who played Molly. I cannot remember her name right now, but I know it was Team Madison. It was fantastic. One of the best Annie performances ever, I have to say. So those are all the questions I got. Thank you guys so much for asking. I did not expect to get that many questions. I'm very thankful. And it was a lot of fun answering them. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will do more question and answers in the future. I don't know if they'll be as popular as this one was because I'm more active on my Annie account, I guess. But we'll see. If you have any question answers you want for specific shows, please leave them in the comments. Or if you have just questions in general, I can hold aside for when I do a general question and answer video. So yeah. Please like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.